You're accusing Ram and Abhishek Singhvi of painting Amit Shah in black colors. Let me put that issue first to Mr. Zafar Sareshwala, who's not only a publicly admitted supporter of Mr. Modi, but an admirer of Mr. Modi as well. Are people wrong, Mr. Sareshwala, to criticize Amit Shah, or has Amit Shah earned and richly deserved the criticism he's getting? Answer that specifically.
No, absolutely. You know, whoever it is, if somebody utters these kind of words, of course it has to be admonished.
Thank you.
And you see the conduct of Mr. Modi compared to that. Since last 9-10 months, that is the reason why a lot of Muslim community and particularly the Muslim youth have been moving towards Modi.
Let me stop you there. It's very interesting that you should say, it's very interesting you should say, look at the conduct of Mr. Modi, because yesterday at the press conference to launch the BJP manifesto, this was a question put to Mr. Modi and he refused to answer it. Do you think Amit Shah has embarrassed Mr. Modi, which is why Mr. Modi maintained silence? Answer that, Mr. Zafar Sareshwala.
I don't know about that, but at least I have been observing, and a lot of people are observing what Mr. Modi has been speaking for the past 11 months, and also his conduct in last 11 years. So I think we would judge Mr. Modi by what he's been doing in the 11 years and what he's been talking in last 11-12 months. So I don't think this was unnecessary for Mr. Amit Shah to have spoken whatever he has said.
I'm going to, for the sake of the audience, underline. He should be admonished, you said. This was unnecessary, you said. This is wrong and it shouldn't have been spoken. Those are three very important points from a man who's an acknowledged admirer of Narendra Modi. And Ram, the paradox is that Amit Shah's incitement of Jats and his attempt to turn them against Muslims happened roughly at the same time as the BJP manifesto, which says, and I'm quoting, it's unfortunate that a large section of the minorities, and especially the Muslim community, continues to be stymied in poverty. A very understanding sentence and sentiment about the plight of the Muslim community. And the same manifesto talks about the need to preserve the rich culture and heritage of the minority communities. It even calls unity in diversity the hallmark of India. When you compare the manifesto sentiments alongside Mr. Amit Shah's hate speech, do you think that there's an element of schizophrenia that runs through part of the BJP?
There's an element of schizophrenia in the manifesto itself, Karan, as we discussed, and you were pointing it out to me yesterday, this phrase, unity in diversity. By the way, it is lifted from the 2009 manifesto authored by Mr. Advani, a typical Nehruvian phrase. But that's true. They pay homage to the culture of the minority communities. That's we welcome. But there's a schizoid character to it, because the Ram Janmabhoomi abrogation of Article 370, the Uniform Civil Code, all that comes in with some softening of the language and some new,
Let me bring in at that point Abhishek Singhvi. Abhishek Singhvi, you're a lawyer. You're a man who's dealt with the Election Commission on many occasions. You understand how they function and what sort of reasoning goes into the decisions they come up with. What do you expect them to do? Will they simply admonish Mr. Amit Shah? Or is there a possibility that they could find a way of perhaps banning him from campaigning in UP?
Well, that's really up to the Election Commission to answer. The answer to your question from me is the power is there. A person can be stopped from campaigning, a person can be stopped from participating in election, and more importantly, if the SP government in UP acts, perhaps he can be arrested as well. It's a different issue that politically some may try to get sympathy, air of a martyr. Those are different issues. Two quick points, Karan, very quickly. Mr. Jairam Vyas talked about our commitment. He used the word commitment 4 times. There are some things in the manifesto which are specifically said intended not to be obeyed and stated officially not to be obeyed. In 1999, when they had their manifesto, the same 3 things were there. One day after the government was formed, they spoke officially and said, these 3 things are a BJP promise in the manifesto. We are an NDA government. We can't do it. That's hypocrisy. It is not commitment. But just half a second is very important.
Very quickly.
Crocodile tears for minorities. A striking example. Government of India pays under Sachar Committee reform for scholarships to students of minorities. Government of Gujarat opposes, goes to Gujarat High Court, loses, goes to Supreme Court, loses.
Let me go back very quickly to Jairam Vyas. Mr. Vyas, you've just heard Abhishek Singhvi say before that line went down that the Election Commission has the power to ban Mr. Amit Shah from campaigning in UP? Secondly, given that in fact the UP police stepped in when Imran Masood threatened to chop up Narendra Modi and immediately arrested him, and he stayed in jail till he was let out on bail, are you worried of two things? One, that the Election Commission may ban Amit Shah from campaigning in UP, and two, the UP police, although admittedly belatedly, may step in and seek to arrest Amit Shah just as they arrested Imran Masood. Answer that.
Well, Karan, Abhishek gave a very good clinical treatment to what are the provisions of law. The fact that this is not being acted upon so far is enough evidence that there is no such grave violation of any kind. The words spoken were in a different context, and I stand by it that I think just because it was
what about the possibility, I'm interrupting you because time is our enemy, what about the possibility that the Election Commission may ban Amit Shah from campaigning in UP? They have the power to do so. What if they exercise it?
Well, Election Commission in its own right and in its own wisdom, if they think it that this is the possible action that may be taken, I am sure we will also have the right to defend ourselves.
But are you saying, very quickly, I'm interrupting you. You're suggesting by that answer that if the Election Commission bans Amit Shah, you will accept it. Have I understood you correctly?
Well, ultimately, Election Commission is a constitutional authority. But then, against their decisions also, there is a recourse, there is a redressal of the grievance available. So, appropriate action will be taken. Why do we fight on hypothetical
You began
issues?
by suggesting you'd accept it. You ended up somewhere rather differently diffusing your answer. Very quickly, Enram. Let me go to Enram while I have that line to Chennai. We've had terrible problems with Chennai right through this evening. Mr. Ram, the UP police acted swiftly when Imran Masood, the Congress candidate in Saharanpur, said that Narendra Modi could be chopped up into pieces. He was immediately arrested and he stayed in jail till he was released on bail. When it comes to the incitement by Mr. Amit Shah, the UP police so far has not acted at all. In your eyes, is that double standards? Or do you think they're being wise in being cautious because the backlash that might emerge from Amit Shah's arrest might actually create a much bigger problem than not arresting him in the first place? A quick answer.
Yes, good question, Karan. I think it's the latter, that it's better to be cautious and then proceed soundly in accordance with law. And Mr. Singhvi has made it clear that this is prosecutable, 153A of the Indian Penal Code. And so let them do their investigation and go ahead and act in accordance with law. But I think to be cautious and not to be ham-handed, I think, is a wise thing to do.
Very quickly, Mr. Singhvi, this must be the last question on this particular episode. The police in UP have not so far acted. Is there a possibility that some member of the Congress party might step in and demand action by the police? At the moment, you've only gone to the Election Commission, but might you step in and demand action by the police?
Karan, it's completely unnecessary to demand action by a police after a FIR stands registered, in this case by no less than a EC. After an FIR registered, it is obligatory on the police forces to investigate the alleged crime and then take action.
In which case, what do you make of the
in which case, by me or you?
In which case, a very quick interruption. What do you make of the fact that the police have not arrested Amit Shah? They were very quick to arrest Imran Masood, but they haven't arrested Amit Shah.
Well, clearly, a frank, candid answer to your question is there is clearly a discriminatory action Masood and Amit Shah. Clearly, he was arrestable. It's a different matter. I can understand that certainly politically we don't want to make a hero or give him a halo out of a martyr's edge. But that cannot be stretched beyond a point.
All right.
If he's doing this kind of thing, he deserves to be arrested.
Very quickly, there's a smile on Jainaran Vyas's face. Why are you smiling, Mr. Vyas? Do you feel pleased with the way Amit Shah has behaved and the way he's portrayed your party? Are you proud of it?
Karan, I was smiling because I for one would say that either there is no reason detre, or my friend Abhishek is trying to say that UP police has gone too political and they have started considering every action on the political grounds. I
right.
don't think any of these things exist.
Let's leave this particular episode there. Let's leave it on a point when you're smiling, even if it's an inscrutable smile and none of us can work out quite what there is to smile about. My thanks to all four of my guests and my apologies to both Abhishek Singhvi and N. Ram for that dreadful line from Chennai, and my earlier apologies to Mr. Krishnamurthy, who suffered the same problem as well. Hopefully we'll have put that right, and when we go back to Chennai next, we'll have no problem at all. Goodbye. Good night.